نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. The concept of qat'i and dhanni, which is definitive and speculative, needs to be very clearly understood before one can decide on something being fard or wajib or haram, because one needs to have a decisive proof for fard, which is obligatory, and haram. When you pass a judgment of haram, you have to have beyond shadow of doubt evidence. So as regards cigarettes, we know that it is harmful. Everyone knows that it is harmful, but the percentage of the people who would get disease is significant, and yet not absolute. Now everyone who smokes doesn't get cancer. Not even 50% of the people who smoke get cancer. Now, yes, those who get cancer, from among them, majority, I'm talking about lung cancer, for example, would have smoked actively or passively. But those who smoked, would everyone get the cancer? So you would find that it's not actually, not even close to 50%. So when you have more chance of not having a cancer or serious illness with the smoking, and you cannot predict that specifically for each individual, then to blame something or call something haram is a big decision. So people, or the ulama for that matter, would not take the responsibility. What they would rather say, it's completely inappropriate, it shouldn't be done, it is quite bad, and there's so many harms attached to it on its own, with regards to wasting money, health problem, causing others a lot of harm with the passive smoking, and then bad smell. So a lot of stuff that's going on with it would make it all completely unacceptable. It is not befitting. In fact, I would suggest the people who smoke should not be even considered worthy of being given the witnesses in the court of law. It means they are not even considered appropriate, sensible citizen of the community. Despite that, it does not equate to haram. So haram is a term, is a ruling that is given about anything with a definitive proof. So since that is lacking even now, it is very difficult, according to methodology, to blame someone. So it doesn't fulfill the criteria, so to say. It does not intoxicate, as we know, unlike cocaine and others, and it causes significant ill health. So now, similar issue could be, in fact, even worse for someone who is diabetic, and they know that by taking extra sugar or a lot of sugar would cause them significant harm. So for that person, having that sugar or sugary stuff, would that be considered haram? Can we call it haram? Obviously not. Even if it's like significantly high probability that he would get into trouble. So a thing potentially causing harm does not become haram until it is quite clearly seen and proven that there's more than likelihood that it would get some bad effect on your health. So, and the effect should be serious enough. So it may give you a little bit of high blood pressure, for example. It may give you a little bit of, stress, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of this or that, maybe mouth problem, some throat problem, and some possibility of having 5% chance of lung cancer, 10% chance of this cancer. So all of that, unless they are serious enough to be qualified as suicidal attempt or killing someone, you cannot label it as haram. And that's the big problem with cigarettes, that on one hand it has a lot of ill effects and so many different conditions where it is implicated in, and yet in one given individual you cannot predict whether it would cause them serious heart problems, serious cancers, or what. And that is the reason for not taking the law in the hand, law Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a very big responsibility. So scholars would not go that far. So some scholars, some other imam, they have got slightly easy or softer criteria for something to be haram, and based on that they're happy with that, and they're happy with the medical world telling them this is the list of all the potential problems with cigarettes, hence they would consider it to be haram. Whereas Hanafis have their methodology whereby they have to have more than likelihood, more chance of having a problem than not, which unfortunately we do not see in cigarettes. So hence we cannot say that this is haram. We would say it's very close to it, but we should, for all practical purposes, avoid it. It is completely against the teaching of Islam, and yet to call it haram would be a problem. Still not up to that level yet.